Hello everybody, Treno here, and today we are taking a look at the Soviet 2S1 Gvozdika SPG, which is coming to the Soviet tech tree in the Sons of Attila update, and it will also be coming to the Hungarian subtree in the same update. Now, as you can see, it's armed with a rather big 122mm cannon. So if we look at the ammunition for it, for starters you've got a HE shell which has 51mm penetration. You can also unlock a Heat FS shell with 400mm penetration, a HEVT shell, again 51mm penetration, but of course you can explode it over the roofs of enemies and send fragments straight down through the thin roof armour. And then lastly you've got a new HE shell. Now there's not actually a lot of difference between this and the stock one. It's got the same penetration and it weighs 21.8 kilograms versus the stock's 27.2, and it's got about 4 meters a second more muzzle velocity. So I suspect that the main difference between this and the stock one is that because of its lighter weight and slightly higher muzzle velocity, that is maybe better for longer range shots, maybe there's less drop off, but that's just speculation on my part. Now it's got a reload rate of 13 seconds, which isn't the best in the world, but not awful either, and it's got a vertical targeting speed of 3.1 degrees a second. Horizontally, it's got a targeting speed of 5.9 degrees, and it's got a zoom of 3.7 to 5.5. And as you can see here, it's got a commander optics of 5 times zoom. Now, moving on to the armour, it's not particularly great. It maxes out at 14mm, and at the front, while you do get a little bit of sloping, that can bring it up to about the high 20s, low 30s of millimetres in some areas. It's not going to be particularly effective against stopping anything other than light machine gun fire and maybe the odd heavy machine gun fire. I mean, from the front, it's a little bit more protected, but from the sides, you've only got a max of 7mm, and same again for the rear. So this is really not well protected, and the roof is also about 7mm, so roving aircraft are going to absolutely shred this thing on the battlefield. I mean, the only bit that's got more than 7mm on the roof is this little commander's hatch, and only part of it. So yeah, like I say, aircraft are going to be a huge issue. And as you can see here, this bit where the driver is also not particularly well protected. Although because the driver's to the side of that viewport, you might have people shooting there by mistake and missing the driver, so that could be a slight advantage. Now moving on to the speed, it's got 265 horsepower engine, and it's got 11 gears forward for a top speed of 37 miles per hour. But it's only got 2 gears backwards, so you've only got top speed of 6.4 miles per hour when reversing. So decently fast when moving forward, but if you're needing to back away from an enemy, that's not going to be particularly great. Now, moving on to the inside of the vehicle, it has got composite armour inside, but it doesn't say how much, it just says equivalent protection against, and then it doesn't say anything. Obviously, they haven't finished that bit yet. But we've got a crew of 4, so you've got the driver right at the front here, well away from the rest of the crew, and he is protected by this composite armour in theory. And then in the turret itself, you've got the gunner, commander, and the loader. So you've got a decent enough crew, but of course, with most of them being huddled around in this turret, just one shell here is going to be easily enough to knock out the vehicle. Now, this is kind of come to the Soviet tech tree at 6.0 at rank 4. We've also got the Hungarian one, which comes after the Turan 3, which is also 6.0 at rank 4. There doesn't seem to be a huge amount of difference between this and the Soviet one, to be honest. It looks like it's got a slightly different paint scheme, and it also has the same problem with the composite armour, has the same engine, 265 horsepower, same crew, same reload rate, same vertical guidance, same turret rotation speed, seems to be about the same vertical targeting, and it seems to be about the same gunner optics. So yeah, this seems to be pretty similar to the Soviet version. This does seem to be more or less just a copy-paste job, which is a shame. I mean, I do understand obviously they need to put a vehicle here, but hopefully this can be replaced on the Hungarian tech tree at some point in the future. Maybe the Romanian 08PR Model 89, which is a 2S1 Gvozdika turret on the MLI 84 chassis, as used by the Romanians. Also, I believe this has a slightly lower repair cost. This has a repair cost of 3,443 max. The 2S1 has 4,021, so it's a little bit cheaper to repair for the Hungarian vehicle. So yeah, this seems to be a decent vehicle. Of course, this comes between the ISU 122S and the 2S3M, so it helps to fill that gap between those two vehicles, and it is nice to see more SPGs being introduced to War Thunder. Unfortunately, I can't take this for a test drive because I haven't unlocked it on the tech tree for either this or the Hungarian version. But yeah, this seems like a very decent vehicle, and I'll be unlocking it very soon after it comes out because I've nearly unlocked the ISU 122S. So hopefully I'll be able to play this not long after the update has been released. Anyway, just a quick video for today. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully you'll join me for the next one. I've been Terreno, and I'll see you next time.